So look at the first one. It's worth 14 marks enough. It wants to do a very simple thing. You're going to read the case, look at the three stakeholders, and say which one of the options, the three products that are in the case, that you would need, that each would go for. If you look at the case, you see a section that says stakeholders' views on the risk of the K-Land opportunity. Three of SBERI's key stakeholder groups, employees, directors, and shareholders, have been consulted for their views on the proposal to export to K-Land, and in particular, on which of the three newly developed products to export there. The employees have a cautious approach to the proposal following the recent failure of another product launch. That product was withdrawn, and as it breached poorly understood safety regulations, and a number of employees lost their job as a result. So we see why they are cautious. The directors, all of whom are individually wealthy, have served on the board for many years and are keen to earn the large bonus, which is currently offered solely on the total profit made by the new product over its life cycle. And lastly, the shareholders, they neither avoid nor seek risk, but they are keen that the company considers the external environment in K-Land in order to maximize performance there, whichever of the products is chosen to be exported. They have asked for a pest analysis, and the examiner tells you what PEST stands for, on the environment in K-Land to be produced. A first draft of this has indicated that the exchange rate between the D-Land dollar and the K-Land dollar is a key economic factor which may affect performance. All right? So we know who the three stakeholders are. All right? So you can make a note of them. So they are the three stakeholders that they want us to pay attention to. The employees, the directors, and the shareholders. And actually, again, what we're saying, use elements of the MIC decisions. Alright? Decisions. Right? Now look what the examiner has done first. Identify three key stakeholders in the case that we're going to use. And we all have read from the case, you see the concerns of all three stakeholders. Right? Employees about their jobs, directors about their bonuses, shareholders about neither risk neutral nor risk averse. They just want to be sure that the best decision is taken from their perspective to maximize their wealth. All right? Now, based on just reading that, it's some very basic stuff you know already. In terms of risk attitude, what would you call the employees?
Risk averse.
The directors. And the shareholders. Alright? So those are stuff you pick up already. Alright? Now, again, as we said, part B, even if you never thought of it before, part B says explain the problems of using the risk and uncertainty analysis techniques. Alright? So, bear in mind the risk and uncertainty techniques. The risk averse person will use what? Which is what?
Maximizing the minimum.
Right. So they look for the best of the worst. And what would we use for the directors?
Maximum.
What are these?
Best of the best.
Yeah, they must look for the best of the best. They look for the best case. What about the risk neutral? What would they use?
Expected.
Alright?
I'm sorry, for
Mhm.
employees, could we say that they're pessimistic? Given that they're cautious now based on previous
Experience.
happenings.
Yeah, I think we could say that, yeah. Alright. What's the, so we mentioned here, so this is the best of the worst case. This is the best of the best case, and this is using this is using probabilities. Alright. What's the drawback of maximum?
They won't explore the best options.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about this.
They will most likely result in foregoing. They will probably forego. They won't explore the possibility that there is better
Right, yeah.
because of
Or
the fear of
cautiously.
losing.
The fear, right.
Yeah.
So they ignore the of the worst case occurring, or even the best case. They're not even interested. All right. What happened to the best case? What am I doing?
Sir, you're referring to in this case, in
No, that's in
in
general.
general.
Yeah. Mhm. What happened to the best case? You see the thing right here, so this comes back still, man. Because since they ignore probabilities,
They ignore the worst.
yeah, so they ignore the probabilities. So they are going for the best, whether or not the best is likely to occur.
Probably.
Oh, the probabilities.
No, what you start the sentence?
Right. Ignore, so suppose that they ignore the probabilities of the worst case. So they ignore the probabilities of the best case. Them just go for it. It's like somebody here that the lotto is 160 million Jamaican dollars. You know what? I'm gonna take all the funds that the company have and buy one lotto number. The probability that you'll win the lotto is 1 in 2 billion, or whatever the number is. Don't care, man. Take all of the company money and buy a lotto ticket. Because if it plays, we're rich. Well, they're ignoring the probability of their best case. So they're buying the lotto thinking that they can win. Even though the chances are that they can't win, yeah. Alright? What's the problem with expected values?
It's based on assumptions, so it's very subjective.
Alright, let me fix up a base and assumption. And call it this. So questions may exist for the probability numbers. Meaning that there are times when we may have to question the probabilities. Alright? We have to question the numbers you come up with. So do you have the experience? Was the number like a guesswork or was it very scientific, right? You do know that the expected value is not one of the outcomes. Alright, but you have based the decision on the expected value. Alright? An expected value is best when the decision repeatedly on many occasions. Right? That means if it's a one-time thing, probably don't use expected value. If it's a stuff that you're gonna keep using all the while, then you can probably use expected value. It's like, you know, person can work out the probability you have 2 pairs of dice that you can throw double 6. But if you throw it one time, you may not get that double 6. But if you keep doing it often enough, you get the double 6.
So what you're saying is the second one is not one of the
Right, it's not one of the outcomes. So the expected value is never one of the outcomes. It is a sum, a weighted average of all the possible outcomes. Alright, but it is not one of the outcomes. So the value that you get is not actually one of the value you're likely to get. Alright? So if you choose something based on its expected value, and the expected value is 100 million, it's because you have these 3 or 4 options that you're going through. One at 300 million, one is $1 billion, one at $500 billion, one at 400, whatever. So you use then the probabilities beside it and you come out with that number. That number is not one of the outcomes. Alright? So if you think now when you make the decision, you say, alright, make it an EV, and EV are going to return $500 million to me, you're not going to actually end up with 500 million. Alright? So we know something. So these are some basic stuff that we should know that will help us with the answer right away. Part A asks us to do these, and we've worked out which one is it already, so we know we have to work out maximum, maximax, expected value. Part B says explain the problems of using. See the problems there? Alright, so we have part A and B. The only thing that we probably need now for part A is to work out this maximum, maximax, and the expected values. Alright? Alright, questions? Alright, anybody try to work out these values? Because if you look on page 6 in appendix 1, they give us some stuff there. So we have expected levels of demand, selling prices, and the cost of the 3 newly developed products. Red, blue, green, right? And we have selling price in KL and dollars. Our thing is which country I operate again? We're in a D-land, right? And we have total unit cost in D-land dollars. And we have some notes. The development costs are some costs and can be ignored. We have to ask questions to try if we're going to try to recover those. 2, the estimated product life of each of the 3 products is the same, and the total demand is for the whole life of the product. 3, the current exchange rate between the D-land dollar and the K-land dollar is 1 D-land dollar buys 2 K-land dollars. That is right. S-Berry Finance Director has estimated that over the life of the product, there is a 75% probability that the average exchange rate of the D-land dollar will strengthen by 10% against the K-land, and 25% probability that the average exchange rate of the D-land dollar will weaken by 10% against the K-land dollar. So we'll come back to that. 4, at the current exchange rate, 50% of the total cost for each product is for materials which are imported from K-land and they are invoiced in K-land dollars, so not in D-land dollars. They are invoiced in K-land dollars. There will be no opening or closing inventory, whichever of the 3 products is chosen. Alright? Alright, what's the uncertainty here, sir?
The exchange rate.
The exchange rate, yeah. Alright? Not quite sure what the exchange rate will be. Alright? The exchange rate can either be 10% up or 10% down. Alright? Which means that we have 2 uncertainties. Alright? 1 up, 1 down. Alright? So those are the things that we need to make the decision about though. Based on SBERI, not quite sure of what the exchange rate should be or will be should they get into red, blue, or green. Alright? So the uncertainties around the exchange rate. You notice that they have given us probability. Alright? So the probabilities we can use for the risk neutral persons. But as far as the uncertainty is concerned, the employees and the directors we will build up using those. Alright? So what are the 2 values of the exchange rate that we can get? Where is it again? That's number 3. Alright, it will strengthen by 10% against the K-land dollar. So it will be, it could be 220 or 180 for the weakening, right? Alright?
So why that the way?
Yes, sir.
Because I did a flip.
The dollar will strengthen.
Uh-huh.
It means that K will less. It
Yeah.
will less K to buy the D.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, if it's strengthened, it's not bad for dealer.
Bad enough, bad how?
Because if the money is strengthened, if K-land strengthened, D-land is going to.
No, so it's not K-land as strengthened, it's the D-land. So with my 1 D-land dollar, I'm getting more K-land. Alright? When it weakens, it means with my 1 D-land dollar, I am getting less K-land. Clear? Right. So if it strengthens, it's the $2.20 weakens by $1.80. The same 10%. So it's 2 sets of money we have to work out with. One when it is 220 and one when it is 180. Alright? Anybody did anything? I know Frederica did start work on it from last week. You had gotten something? Uh-huh. Alright. Yeah, what about it you want to explain?
The current exchange rate is $1 million.
The current exchange rate is.
Alright, so listen to, Kelly. Say, go ahead, Kelly. Yeah, you just start
The
to
current exchange rate is $1 million to what is it, K-land?
To 2 Kelly, right? Yeah.
Strengthened by 10% is 1.1 or 110 times the $2.
No.
10% of $2 is what? $20 is 20 cents. Yeah.
10% of $2 is how much?
No, I understand that, but why you applying
But you're applying to dealer.
to both, right?
Why are we doing what?
Oh, you're applying to both.
We don't say there's a 75% chance that
Even
dealer
like, no, not yet, not there, say it, not there, say it.
But
Why-
that's
why-
not we're
why-
operating
why should I apply to that?
so we're anything
If D land strengthens, then it will take more K dollars.
It's
Think
like-
about it.
Think about
So it takes $2.20 now to buy one
One
D
D-land
land
dollar. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Dealer is US, Keelan is
It's Jamaica.
So the second part now, if it weakens,
Right.
if which one weakens?
If the deal, same deal and weekend.
Remember where
Oh.
So it will take less
We'll
K
take
land
less
dollar
K-land
to
dollar
buy
to
now
buy.
and Alright?
So why, oh, 180?
Yeah, right.
Okay, guys, you're still moving from the $2 perspective, okay.
Cause still the $2 perspective we're moving from. Alright? Alright, other questions? So since these are the two uncertainties, we're going to work out the returns or the profit that each make based on this and based on this. Alright? So let's write some stuff up here. So these are our alright, let's show the working first, and then we can put up the figure. So this is, that's our based on total profit, that's what the director's money will get. At,
So this is A3.
yeah. You notice A at 14 marks? So then I think it was 14 marks, we just say risk averse, risk seeker, and risk neutral. Alright? We'll have to work out this to tie it back to them. Alright? Oh, I'm sorry, exchange rate. Alright? No further, you know you let's start. You know, Do a different approach. oh, okay, alright. Because I know you say you wanted to do it a different year.
No, it's how I interpret it, sir. I interpret it different, so I approach it different, but we have the same answer. So let me see how it.
Okay, alright. Alright, so this is the revenue in K-land dollars. Why? Again, probably, well, in this way, it's a little straightforward in the sense that it'll tell you clearly you're following the steps. Because you see the units and the K-land dollar price, you multiply it, you get it.
Why are you
Right.
doing it in K-land and not in D-land?
Because we're going to do it back in deal and after.
But why not just convert it from the get-go? We're going to report our
In
financials
D-land
D-land.
dollars, right,
So
yeah.
why start it in K-land? Isn't that, I don't know, is that easier?
It's probably like more straightforward, but not, it should come back to the same thing. Right? Because here's the thing, our selling price is in K-land dollars.
Right, so you convert it to D-land?
Right, so you'd have to do a conversion there. So if you ever do a conversion, why not just calculate the money in K-land dollars and then convert that money
But sir,
to
yeah,
D-land
we're
dollars?
converting unit cost.
And there are other, but for the revenue right now, it's in K-land dollars multiplied by K-land dollars and tell you what the K-land dollars is. Then convert that amount of money to the D-land dollars.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of converting the K-land dollar selling price to D-land dollars. Alright?
So wait, if you put the revenue in Keelan dollars, right? That times that. Wouldn't you just say regular Keelan dollars divided by the exchange rate or whatever?
So you say revenue in K-land dollars divided by the exchange rate. That's all we're doing. And we're doing that because the simple thing is that he gave us the selling price in K-land dollars.
So she just did everything one time.
Right, yeah.
That's why you did spreadsheet.
Because you do the same thing. You convert, But why convert the selling price? The selling price is in Kaylan dollars.
Convert the
Multiply is the revenue you really need to convert,
Right,
not the
so
selling
convert it
price.
to dealer and then times it by the unit.
Right, but it's not the revenue you are converting. You're converting the selling price. So we're saying convert the revenue because the selling price is given to you in Kaylan dollars.
So I'm not, but are you saying if I just convert the selling price, I'm not converting revenue when I multiply by the unit?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that what would actually be more accurate is if you convert the revenue. Because right, because remember it is Kaylan dollar revenue that you're earning.
Oh, so it's like if you're buying online, you buy the stuff at the US
At the
amount,
right, and then you
bank
convert,
translate it.
right? Yeah. So you don't translate the selling into your money. You translate it in the currency you're paying it, or you're earning it. Then later on, when you want to move that to you now, you convert. Alright? Because that's how business is. It's when you settle the stuff, then you convert. Alright? So that's why you do the revenue in Kayla, then you convert it to D-Land dollars. Because your revenue is not in D-Land dollars. Your revenue is in Kayla dollars. Alright?
Sir,
Alright.
at first my interpretation was way off because I converted everything into Canadian dollars because I was of the impression that
Oh, you do everything to
investing,
okay.
we are investing in Canadian. So I
Right.
want to know what I'll be earning in Canadian based on the decision that I'll take.
Right.
And then as I said, no, you can't report to shareholders
Right. In a different,
currency.
right.
So I was off with my interpretation.
Okay.
So on that, because that's why I didn't answer, because I said the reporting, the whole functional currency and those things, I was saying that it's going to, if they're going to report to shareholders, they have to report to them in the D-Land currency.
That's what we're doing.
So that's the reason why I started off everything in D-Land.
Right, but that's exactly what we're gonna do, but we're gonna say we're earning Kaylan dollars of this amount first. Because that is what is going to happen first.
Before we report.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we can't get to reporting till we do the sales. Right?
And at this point, it's just a decision we're taking.
Yeah, So you're assuming that we do all of this already, we do the revenue already, and we are convert. No, we do the revenue, then convert. Alright? So it would be, and everybody know what the figures, this figure is 500 times 8 for the first one and stuff like that. No, not 500, 50,000. Right? Oh, no, alright, the products. Red, blue, green. So in Kaylan dollars, it is 400, 540, 960. Alright? Then we're saying now, come back to our reporting part here now, Frederica. Revenue in D-Land dollars. So this is now when we convert it. Alright? Which would now be the the 400,000 divided by the exchange rate. Alright? Since 2.20 of every 2.20 of every bit of this amount are going to equal to one D-Land dollar. Alright? So this then should be, what is it, 181? 818, yeah. Alright? And the same thing for blue, same thing for green. This is what? 245, yeah. 455? Okay. And then for 436, 364. So see the revenue there in D-Land dollars. Alright? Let's look at the cost of imported material now. Alright? can do it again for all of them. What is it for red now? Because look at what the case says. Remember, the case tells us something in there. It says, at the current exchange rate, 50% of the total cost of each product is for materials which are imported from KLAN and invoiced in KLAN dollars. Alright? Which means, look at the per unit cost. So it's not 240. Is how much of it? 120, 50%. What is it that?
Sorry, it's
That's the
120
only cost of that.
Wait, no, let's say if we get the 120.
Yes,
Everybody.
that's what I think.
Right, so everybody have 120.
And the next one is $1.50, and the next one is
Right, and next one is a $1.50, and what is that? 125.
Sir.
Alright?
No, sir.
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
The current exchange rate,
Because of
50% of the total cost.
60% of each.
Yeah, but it's 50% of each and then represented in a KLAN. So me would have said, alright, so out of the 240, 50%, 120 plus
The other
60,
50%.
so $1.80, because me would convert the other half, because only 50
Right.
represented in KLAN dollars.
Yeah,
So I would convert the other half
100%.
and then I'll make $1.80.
Not
What?
no.
No, right, I understand what she's saying though.
Sir, then it's at the current exchange
60%, but
rate,
you have
which
to
is
capture
$2
100% of the cost.
Right.
But 50% is a
50%.
make 100 the two.
But it's
See
50%
that and
of
then
one rate and 50% of the other rate, which is what she said.
Oh, she's doing it in KLAN.
No, I'm
It's
doing
not
it
about
in
rate, it's
because,
about currency.
sir, alright, we have $100, and if the 50% of the $100 is KLAN dollars, so therefore my cost is $50. I'm sure of, because that $50 is KLAN. But for the next 50, which is KLAN, I'm converting it, and that $50 KLAN is $25 KLAN. So me and my 25 and my 50, I mean, you get
The
75.
total cost.
But aren't we supposed to be doing at the $2.20 and not just the $2? No, they said at the current exchange rate.
You have to do it at the $2.20, because we
Yeah,
work out
yeah.
at $2.20.
But sir, they never buy it at $2.20.
It don't matter. Remember, they haven't done it yet, you know. They are saying at the current rate. They are planning to do
Oh,
this
I think
thing.
at either the 220 or the 18.
Right. Remember, this is a plan, you know, guys.
But sir, anyway, take it back at the next half, and I'm not sure.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to convert the 50% from KLAN to DLAN and add it to the DLAN. Right. Alright, so that's what we're going to do.
Sir, please explain to me now how you use the rate for that. I know it can't be written down, but
We can just take it one step at a time.
Alright.
She said total cost.
So is the cost of imported material. So note this says cost of imported
Oh, you
material.
separate.
So it's only the imported material part this relates to. Not the total cost.
Okay.
So the total cost will be fairly straightforward. We take 120 multiplied by the 50, we get what that
The
is.
simplest thing to do is to separate them.
Separate.
the costs.
Alright. So look at it. Look at the cost for red. The total cost for red. The number of units for red, 50,000, right? Okay? The cost for it, the portion of the total cost that goes to the imported part is 120. Alright? Now that was converted based on the $2 thing. Alright? But we want to change it to the 220 thing. So what do? We, this get it back to KLAN dollars, and then we divide it by the 220 to now get it into DLAN dollars.
Sir, the president said no such thing.
So there's an easier way.
Alright, what did the question say?
There must be an easier way. Separate it first. Keep it separate.
keep what separate?
Say, the deal and card.
But this is the Kayla dollars. That's why I'm not quite sure what you mean separate. You get it?
Yep.
Yeah, Marsha, what's the issue? You said that's not what it says. Look at the total. So what's the cost per unit for red? $2.40 Dealand dollars. Alright? They say half of that was in Kayland dollars, which means 120 of it was in Kayland dollars but was converted to Dealand dollars. Agreed? Now, if I want to not use the $2 rate but the $2.20 rate, I need to convert it back to Kayland dollars. Right, and then switch it to the $2.20. That's what we need to do. Because it is now 50% at the $2 rate. Our thing that we're projecting is that we're going to, the rate during the life of our red, green, and blue are going to be $2.20, not $2.
Girl, it's on trick. Look on the question and anything.
So we never said it. Sir, you remember when you said the minimum question that we did in class is the hardest thing?
Yeah. And this one was straightforward. The only thing I know about it is to get the conversion. If you get the conversion, because the min-max itself was very straightforward.
Sir, this is a trick. That's what you're talking
It's just a conversion. Alright? Everybody see the conversion? So we multiply it back by the 2. Similarly for the 180, we'll do the same thing. Multiply it back by the 2 to get it back into Kayland dollars, and then divide it by the 180 to now get it back into Dealand dollars at the rate of 180.
Sir, are you saying that this $2.40?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Alright, let me tell you. He's saying the $2.40,
Mm-hmm.
50% of it. Remember the $2.40, all of it is represented in D dollars. No. All of the $2.40 is D dollar. But he's saying the 50%, which is the 120, was originally converted using the $2 exchange rate, the current exchange rate. So 120.
We can explain this in USD and JD? Currency.
Yeah.
So for instance, that $1.20 was converted at say 150 USD.
Question, no, my question is, when is this 220 factored in? Because the 220 is factored in if there is a strengthening of the dollar. So
And that's what we're doing. Look at what our heading is. Total profits at exchange rate of 220.
Right.
So we're assuming that it is 120.
We're assuming the strengthening happened.
Right. And then we have to assume that the weakening occurred.
That's why I say certainty is too.
Right. There's two uncertainties. So we have to work out with one of them. Yeah, what's the value with one? And then what's the value with the other? Yeah.
I mean, I went on the first.
So the option, so sorry. So the option to change the number is not an option without the strengthening or the weakening. That's the focus right now. No, it's just whether
No,
there's
because we
strengthening
said,
or
look,
weakening.
where would you write it? So we said there are two uncertainties. That the dollar strengthen or the dollar weaken. Those are two things that they don't know about. And they're saying that's going to have an impact on the decision that they make. Alright? So what we're going to say, alright, since you have two uncertainties, let's say the first one occur. How much money are you going to make? Yeah. Suppose the second one occur, how much money are you going to make? And then now, from that now, we'll come up with a little matrix thing, and then you can do your maximax and your maximum and your expected value. Alright? Alright, so this is it for red. So it's basically the same thing we do for all of them. Red, the blue, and the green. Alright? So red would have been, where is it now? Alright? So red is going to be 5,4. Oh, we take up red space over here, sorry. Put it down. So 5,4, 545. Alright, and we'll do the same thing for blue. Blue is what? 660. Times again and at 120. What is it? 150? Yeah. 150 times 2 divided by the 220. Alright, so blue's figure would be 81,818.
Sorry, we don't get those exact figures, the examiner will. So if I use a different approach from that, that's the examiner's approach, right?
Right, yeah.
Like if someone uses a different approach, how is it?
Alright, so someone uses a different approach. Here's what the examiner look for. If not just looking for numbers that match. He might look for what you did, yeah. So he might look at the principle, yeah. So if the principle is logical and the principle makes sense and the principle follows standards, yeah, got it. Alright? I would know that there are many ways. It's maths, so there are many ways to do it.
Sorry, but I'm interested to know what 220 and then times by 160 and then times by
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
Alright?
you know what, I did the total cost at the 50% in deal on dollars first, and then I did the 50% if it weakens and strengthens.
Right. So why do the deal and dollar part now? Is that the deal and dollar part is very, it's clear and obvious.
Deal and part.
Yeah, so let me just finish this. Because the deal and dollar part is just the 120 times this. That's all.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't even know if I have to put it on the board. It's just the 120 times this and the 150 times this. Alright, and then the 125 times the, what is the other figure? 9. No, that is
Yeah.
whatever the next figure is, yeah. Alright? Green. So green figure is, green is only 160 times half of the figure, 125 times the same thing again, the 2 divided by the 220. So green figure would be 181,818. Examiner love you know aspect. Yeah, say things say you're doing something wrong now, because you say
But that relates to red.
yeah, say yeah, say no man,
I
man do something wrong, yeah, so yeah. And you will be how often he does it all the while. So you doubt yourself in the exam and you say, no, check out my calculator again, yeah. Because why is it the same number like? And you say, we see that number there already. And even that one there, look on that one there.
Or you even pick the wrong
Eh.
as the answer.
Yes. So we're there now. Alright, so now we can get total profit, right? Oh, we never do the straight. And yeah, so everybody know if we do the straight. We just multiply it then. So the straight, so we just write down the straight number here. Just one letter. So it's not really anything big to see. So the deal and dollar cost. So those are no conversions. Red, blue, green. And we just, so it is just 50 times 120, which is what, 60? Right, and then it is 60 times 150, which is what, 90? And then it is 160 times the 125, which is 200. Alright? So now you have the two costs. The imported material, the local material cost. And you can subtract it from the revenue. Alright? So this would be 181,818 minus 54 minus 60. Alright? Let's put it over here so that we can have a little table to do max and maximum from. So this is our payoff table over here. Alright. can put in when we're ready to do the expected value. Exchange rate, and then we have red, blue, and green. And everybody is now expressed over here in billion and dollars. Alright. Alright, so the totals for red, because we have done red already, should be 67273. So you got that, Susan, and you got that, Frederica?
That's the expected value.
No, not the expected value. So this is this. Alright. So if you subtract from the 181, 818, the 54, 545, and the 60, you should get 627, 273. You get what? 675. Alright. You beat the ballpark, so you'll get your marks. You know too? Alright, you can try it away there. Alright, remember what you want to always lay it out. You want to lay it out with the uncertainties and want to see the options that come up with each uncertainties. Because if this is an uncertainty, see the values for each of the uncertainties. See another uncertainty here, give us the values. Alright? Alright. And following the same principle with the 180, you do this. Total profit at exchange rate of 1.80. Do the same things. Give it back in kilo and dollars, then change it to deal and dollars. Do the cost of imported material, same thing, and do your local cost, same thing. Alright? So you're supposed to now get your, for this one, it should be 95, 555, 110, and 111,111. What? You get what? 94 for one? Okay. I think yours is just because you changed the exchange rate before you did the revenue. But they seem to be okay along the lines of the logical calculation. Alright. So over here now, alright, so this section, let me see if we get a different. So all of this right here, so alright, these are the uncertain fields. Alright, so these are based on exchange rate of 220 and 180. So see that here. Alright? So it's again we use the workings that we have over here to arrive at those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers over there. Alright?
So this is from the 3 questions here from 187?
Yeah. Oh no. Alright, you see that? Everybody see that now? Which means that literally now, we can actually make our decision if we wanted to. We can't do the expected value yet because we have not multiplied those numbers by the probabilities. Alright? But ignore the probabilities for now. If we just look at just the numbers, what's the number for red, what's the number for blue, what's the number for green? Alright? So if that was all that we're interested in right now, normally if you notice for the uncertainties, the payoff table, we normally have 3 by 3. So you can get a 2 by 3. You can get one less work for them. Is that not easier?
So the option of the rates remaining current is never.
It's not considered, no. Alright? Which could possibly be a cause for concern if you're writing about something else. Because remember, one of the things it asks us is, again, explain the problems, and we had some problems in there, but there's something specific to the case. Well, kind of probably even relate a little bit to the expected value, but it could also relate just in terms of what we calculated there. How much experience do they have with forecasting foreign currency? They have traded in dealer all this time. This is the first time they are going overseas. So maybe they should have considered the dollar not changing or the exchange rate not changing. Alright? Alright. But work for the other parts now already?
No.
Maybe that's a goal, like to find something.
Isn't that the answer for the other part?
Yeah. Alright. Well, you want to go through and try it and make sure say, yeah, you're good.
Is there a shortcut way to come for the 0.25 answers?
Or the probabilities? Well, we're not reach probability yet, so save that question for next one. Alright? We're really at the summary there. We're still at the so at this place now, maximax and maximate. Based on if you were the employees or if we were to assign which product the employees would go for, we said that they would go for the best of the worst. Which one would the employees go for? Blue. Yeah, because the worst is the 220, right?
Sir, sir, can you do the first one with the 180 before you?
Oh, alright.
Yes, because I don't get it.
Alright. Alright, what's your revenue in KLAN dollars?
400,000.
Yeah, for, right.
180.
So you have your 400,000, right? And you divide it by 180, what you have here, so now.
It wouldn't be the 180, 181 anymore now.
Right, yeah. So you have what you have here, so revenue in DLAN.
Well, then we need to convert the 400 using the 1.8 and not the 220.
You have us in suspense. What do you have for revenue? What you get it now? Right.
The selling price is in K dollars.
Yeah. Which not change by the way, you know?
I have to convert the $8 to.
No.
No, I'm not converting it.
400,000.
Revenue.
The revenue.
Convert the revenue
Right.
to. Okay.
And remember the revenue not changing. The revenue
So
would
write
always
it
be.
down, write it down. So write the figure.
No, I need to remove that line, the 181.
Mhm.
Remove it, sir. No, you remove it, the 181 and everything.
But if you don't have that current, whatever write it down on.
So the
So how
total,
we get that now?
the total profits and exchange rate
Yes.
at 1.8.
Divided by 1.8.
Sorry, the amount in dealer will still remain the same.
This?
They will still get back the 60,000
Right, right. In terms of the, using the 180 here. Cause that don't change right here. You see it now? Right. Cause revenue in Kayla dollars will always be the same amount. Whether the exchange rate is 220 or is 180. It's just the revenue in Dealand dollars that will change. Alright? The cost in Dealand dollar part here so should remain the same. as
Okay,
well.
local.
Yeah, the local part will remain the same, it's just the imported will change. Alright? Then we get back one of them. You get one here, alright. Yeah, alright.
That's one of the things I did, because I assumed that the revenue was strengthened and weakened. And so I took the cost, each cost that strengthened and weakened from
Right.
the revenue that strengthened or weakened. So that's how I ended up. But you're saying the revenue will change.
The revenue, because the revenue not changing in Kayla dollars. And I think that's the point we want to also bring forward when we look at this. The Kayla dollar revenue will be constant. What will change is the revenue that they get in dollars because of the exchange rate. And so it kind of now highlights this idea of the foreign exchange risk.
So, excuse me, for example, if I were laying it out and then, like, right as we have under the, the straightforward material cost.
Right,
But
alright,
if
so-
I were to just drop in my 220 there, so, and drop in, like, where you have sorry, the 881,818.
Right.
Under there, I just put revenue in Dealand dollars at 180.
Revenue in deal and
At
dollars.
180. I'm just trying to get the layout. Because I think I kind of know what state of and the
Right.
layout.
Okay.
So, like when you had the 220
So which
there, right?
So which one you calculating? You calculating the
No,
220?
everybody want. Well, it's right where you have revenue in D dollars.
Right.
I wouldn't bother put no whatever here. It's at right here that would say revenue in D dollars at $2.20 exchange rate
Right.
in these.
Right.
And then under here revenue in D dollars at $1.80 with this down there and
Right.
the rest of the figures. Like when you have cost of
Importing, right? You
add
have
up
those-
slotting or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, then I forgot do so much writing.
Here's the problem. with
You're
that.
going to
Alright,
profit.
cool.
You might end up.
Well, no, but it's my profit. I just pick up.
Right.
Well,
you might
pick up
end up
wrong
right.
one.
You might end up now picking up the
Coming by
wrong
rush,
thing.
remember the 3 hour rush?
So you might end up making mistakes.
So I must do over like this.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
I see.
Yeah, the same thing, yeah, right?
I see everything you're writing, I just have to write it over
You're not
to
writing your
space.
calculations, you're just
Exactly.
putting your figures in. Because I write up and I just put in the figures.
But sir, does he
Because our
want to see this or
calculation-
just
No,
not?
when I think when I do that.
Um,
Because do my thing because my age work that way.
He's really interested in that, but he also wants to get a sense as to see how you
So he
try.
wants to
So probably,
he
yeah.
doesn't do one figure.
Yeah. Except when you ask for the foreign currency stuff.
So you give us the 14 maximum ones.
Yeah, in my
Yeah.
honesty.
Yeah.
181 and the one on top of the one at 220.
I know for this, I was
Yeah.
sure. So when I reach 40, let's see.
So the tricky thing though with the man is that he might look at the presentation and say confusing too.
They didn't understand. A joke.
Because remember, in want to say the things are follow. So clearly see the 220 calculations here, see the 180 calculations. So if I go through and I'll pick up which one is which.
Is that a failure?
Yeah.
Make a mistake.
And if he really want to give you an extra mark, it's easier to follow. When it's like that, I can tell that he's not giving you the extra mark. Alright?
Remember, the calculation is not part of the answer. The calculation is really an appendix.
Right. Yeah.
I include this calculation
Yeah.
in the answer. Technically, the answer
Straight, right.
Yeah.
But but it's something that he's looking
This
for.
is, right.
Yeah.
This is to support.
To support. Yeah, I get marks for
Just
that.
get marks to say, oh, this
No,
one.
I get marks for that. So it's not only over there, so I get the marks for. Right?
Something said, I prefer to write first and then do all of that and yeah. That's
So look at-
I'll get lost
We
in
don't
all
know
this.
how long.
No, you're right, you can write. You can write.
Look at what? Look at what?
Choose a product within the calculation, just randomly choose a product for somebody.
No, you can leave. That's a decision. That's the last thing you do.
Alright, so look at what he's giving the marks for. Calculations are worth 8 marks. I'm saying. Alright?
Where you see that, sir?
So
Right, there's
the
a- Exchange rate 1. Alright? Revenue 1. Converted revenues 2. So the revenue, is for the Kaylan dollar revenue. Mhm. And because it is the same in both the 180 and the 220, I'm going to give you 1 for it. But you see, he needed you to put this. You don't get the mark for that. And Frederica, you want to get your mark for it. Can I give mark for the Kaylan dollar revenue? Then he give you a mark for the 2 Dylan dollar revenue. So you get your Dylan dollar revenue.
It takes time.
Alright?
You want
You ready to pick it up?
Total cost,
everything in consider.
him give you money for the total cost. Him marks for the total cost. Right? 3 marks for the total cost. Alright?
For both of them.
So bear in mind that the total cost don't have no change in it. So it's really 1 up here, so 1 for the 181 and then 1 for this. That's 3. Okay.
So I'm give us 6 marks for you tell you all the products to choose and which is appetite in person.
Alright?
So 1 mark per appetite.
Yeah.
1 mark per.
So for right now, risk comparison is suddenly you're probably not really.
No, you're not
No, you're getting marks.
You know, compared to.
In
No,
terms
what's that
of
question?
that question B?
Yes, 2 different sections.
No,
Right.
B is the
As
last
A-
part.
It falls in
Yeah.
both parts.
we need
Falls
to
in
tell
both
them
parts.
who is
You
what
have to
and
get
what
2 marks
product they're
in the
choosing.
2 different sections.
justification of approach selected for each stakeholder group, up to 3 marks. Selection of correct product based on approach, 3 marks. Explanation of the risk appetite of employees and directors, 2 marks. That's when I can give it too much marks. Isn't it?
Yeah,
So what is
6
sorry.
and 2.
So what if
Yeah.
what if
14,
everything is
16.
calculated, you get you select the wrong product, right? But you explain it. You get marks?
Yeah,
Because
chances
the
are probably,
technique
he probably has to
is
say,
covered.
it's just a little mistake, you make. Probably say exactly.
No, sir, mark.
Don't be mark on it.
Sir, mark on.
Be mark on it.
No, man, sir, mark on.
But in class, him give her a lot of marks. Say just give her marks.
No, but she did everything is just right, and she argued
I
right.
select for
Yeah.
the employees red, and red is not the answer. But I explain what maximum is, and I give.
Oh,
why
that
they
part.
select.
Yeah, I said the part you maximum, but not for the final answer.
But I'm not going to get that red is
Right.
correct. But I should get that the
Because
Explanation is correct.
Yeah, because it is maximum, yeah, part.
Yeah. Right, so what we're going to say now, who employees is risk averse. So already said blue?
Yeah.
Everybody said blue?
Employees,
Yeah.
risk averse.
Blue?
Some employees not spending so the minimum.
Uh-huh.
And they think that it's a
Minimum,
minimum, which is
maximum.
7.3.
Yeah.
Alright,
Minimum must be.
so it's the maximum of the minimums.
Right.
And the minimum for red is 67, the minimum for blue is 73, and the minimum for green is 54. So the best of the minimum is 73. So blue wins. then the directors would go with which one now? With green. Best of the best. And shareholders, who are they going to go with now? So right to take right.
I have a
So what we do now is that the idea is that we don't know which exchange rate will occur. We don't know if it's 220 or we don't know if it's 180. So we multiply 0.75 by this for red and 0.25 by this.
Yes, sir.
Alright? So the expected values. Yeah?
You have a pay close, you pay a table close.
So if you have table down. But you can put it here, so let's put it here. No, you can't get it right. Red and blue and green. So no, you can't get right, red and blue and green.
Sorry, which
Put continued and put an arrow and go round.
What kind of presentation that's
Right? I just create, look at a different page and just create a heading that says expected values and create its own little table. So there you go. Yeah. Alright. So red is 75% times 67 and 25 plus 25% times the 95. Alright? So red should be 74344. Alright, so remember 75 times this, 25 times this, add them. Alright? And then blue should be 82, 798. And green is what, 68 something, 68, 688.
See, that meant it's we're on some
Oh, you're around somewhere, then around somewhere. You can't have that. You're gonna get him cross. Yeah, the total. Right.
This question to land of our question 3, sir. This was a time when the options were given.
When was that question like this?
No, sir, that's not right.
25 months.
And
It's
they expect
25.
to do that at the end. Remember, said the end of the exam and rush time.
So who can be first for you?
No, it was the other 3 first. The option questions first.
The easy question and the man box up them and then the long one and I take me forever and I'm going to go on.
There's no easy question to keep out.
And that's what I'm thinking.
You just do as much as you can.
Sir. Alright, so I know this
This one long. It's just because you're not practicing, but once
Yeah, what's the criteria? Yeah.
No, I'm not saying like, of course, it's going to take us time now, but once you
Yeah.
practice it, you go to the exam.
No, but sir, this said the hardest maximum. We did ask you, sir, when you got the question.
That maximum was hard. That maximum is harder than this.
No.
Adjust the exchange rate. Say no hard, yeah.
But then them go answer third forward. So if we get that wrong, get them in right.
Because sir, if we had gotten the 2 exchange rates, we would have done
See, like, you have to be already not even realize.
And you have the answer to be done already too.
Right.
Right?
Just practice when you
Yeah.
this not
Yeah.
take that long.
So you do A and B already, and what was C again?
using the test.
Oh, the pastel stuff.
Sir, so the expected, but they finish with the expected?
Right. And so based on it, what would the shareholders choose?
Blue.
Blue.
Sir, so what if now for the maximum regret table? I know it doesn't come in, but where in this will it come from? If they ask for maximum regret table.
Yes, let's say the employee, we could use it for the employees, we could use it for the directors, and we could use it for the shareholders.
Why would we use it? Because of
'Cause-
probability?
No, don't use probability at all.
Because you're
Because regret shows that you are risk averse as well. But the mindset behind it is that you automatically assume that you're going to make the person is going to make the wrong decision. So you want to minimize your regret. Alright?
So I could have chosen, so instead of doing regret table, I choose maximum.
Yeah, maximum is very straightforward to do it in this It's about to do regret because you see, if you
Is
can
that not
complain about it too long, why go regret now for do even more work? Right, yeah. Alright. And let's say we were doing the regret. How would do the regret, guys, is that you for this we're trying to see which product is the best product. When we want to do the regret table, we'll go across first to fill out the regret table and then we'll go back to the product line. Yeah. Alright?
So always have a total at the bottom of the regret to see or
no, it's not truly a total. So let's say we're doing something like this. Let's see if I can do it quickly. Because we're supposed to come out for this already. Can I remember what other thing, right?
This one.
So if you notice that the real decision that we want to make is not the rate, you know. The real decision is which product. And if you notice that's what we have from expected value to max and max bin, we have selected the best product. But if we were to create this regret table now, put it up here, say it's a regret table. So this is the exchange rate. This is red, blue, green. Alright? Right back the same things, 220, 180. So here's how we fill out the regret table now. We said, suppose the exchange rate turns out to be 220. Alright? Which one give us the best option at 220? Whichever one gave the best option is right 0 there. Alright? Blue gave us the best option at the highest amount? 0. Our regret would be 0 if we chose blue. And then we ask the question, suppose we chose red instead of blue and the rate was 220. What would be our regret? So it, right, so 73 minus the 67, which is what?
6364.
6364. And do the same thing for green. Suppose we had chosen green instead of blue and the exchange rate was 220. 90? 091. There we go here. What if the exchange rate turns out to be 180? Which one have the best? Green? Anyone have the best, just put 0 there. And then subtract the others from the best. So subtract red from green, subtract blue from green. Alright? So red from green now gives us what? Are that a 6,000 again?
No.
Or 5,000? What?
15,556.
Okay. That's too much?
Yeah.
Okay. And blue?
1.
1. Alright. So look at, let's find the max regret for each one. What's the maximum regret for red? So we don't add them, we just choose the highest number. 556. And this is, see there? Then from this, we choose the one with the lowest regret. Because we want to minimize the maximum regret. Alright? So it's the mini max regret.
So is it a coincidence or maximum or difficult to always give the same or
No, not necessarily. Alright? But the other one was blue, right? The maximum was blue?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. So that's how we do the regret. The examiner never asked you for it in this one, but that's how we do it.
How, if we had asked, how would it have been? How would it have been based on all that they're asking for? How would the question? What would be the question?
Based on this, because he might very well. You see, the thing is, once somebody or a stakeholder is risk averse, you can do maximax or you can do the minimax regret. Alright? Suppose he might have given you a fourth one and said that not only are they risk averse, but they are very pessimistic. So if you're pessimistic, it's probably better you go with the regret table. Alright? The pessimistic person has no belief at all that you will make the right decision. Alright? The risk averse person says, yeah, you can make the right decision. I just want to minimize my risk. That's all I must say. I want to minimize my risk. Right? But the pessimistic person don't trust the decision. And the employees could be very pessimistic in this too, you know. Given the fact that the last time them go do something, they lost the jobs. Yeah? Right? But we never get enough to go pessimistic. And in the simpler sense, it never force our hand to go mini-max regret. Nobody do that. Just do the maximum. Because that's an extra, it's a short, quick calculation, but a little extra work that you can have all the time. Right? You know, 25 mark question where as Frederica said, no, this at the end of the day, you rush. Nobody give yourself extra work. But you could have calculated it from this one. Alright? So even though I'm telling you guys that this is not even the hardest one, I'm not convinced that this is not the hardest one. So now have what we consider to be the hardest one, and I have what we consider to be the hardest one. So they're not supposed to get any worse than that. Not so. Right? Because we have the two hardest ones. We have the two hardest ones. Alright? And you know, say, at the exchange rate, at the issue, and the examiner loves to throw the exchange, look at question 2, loves to throw the exchange rate in there, of late, and it always confuses students. What does that mean? Is it up or is it down?
So we can do the part C.
Oh yeah. And what about the part C? What about the part C? That you get marks for or not? The part C says advise shareholders how analyzing the external environment in KLAN using a pest analysis can help SBERI maximize its performance there. Note that you are not required to do the pest analysis. So the first thing I ask you, since you don't want us to do the pest analysis, what is the pest analysis in aid of? What does it show? Stuff that's outside the organization's control. Put it simpler. Opportunities and threats. So it shows the opportunities that exist in KLAN. For example, the goods longer life cycle in KLAN.
Sir, like you talk about the technology and
right, yeah. And the threats and stuff like exchange rate, you know, what's the legal requirements, because again, the last thing they did, they never, so we bring in the case.
And the opportunity would come in with the rising, so
so you know what so he never want to do any pest analysis, but just say how the pest analysis would have been. And the main thing to get to is what the pest analysis represents. Yes, it's external and stuff, but you know what it shows us? Opportunities and threats. Use that as your argument. Write your answer on that. Alright? Right, so let's use opportunities and threats and write your answer. Right? And again, the stuff that we didn't know from before we do other papers, I talk about the SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And the tools that were available to look at our outside, our opportunities and threats, pest analysis, so the Porter's 5 forces, blah, blah. And that's what all of them show, opportunities and threats. I just use that and answer the question. Alright? Alright. Questions? Any questions around part C? Alright, look in some of that. We want the paper that I just handed out. Page 4. This is a 50-mark question, and it really, for the most part, was just on 2 pages, like 4.5 pages. Alright? Look at the number 1 part. So remember, you're writing a report. So this is a report. We expect you to, particular for the first question. The first question always gives you the professional marks, and the expectation is that it always have their report. Alright? Look at the first question, the first part of the question. Evaluate the links between the current KPIs at DS in Appendix 1 and its mission. Let's read part 2. Assess the assumptions and definitions using the calculation of the current set of KPIs in Appendix 1. Part 3. Evaluate the other aspects of reporting in the DCS performance dashboard given in Appendix 1. Part 4. Explain how the building block model works as required by the CEO. And he doesn't normally ask them question there. So it was, I guess, in a general mode, because that is like textbook kind of thing, Alright? And part 4, assess the 2 reward schemes given in Appendix 2. Right. So the professional marks are for your format, your style, and the structure of the discussion of your answer worth 4 marks. Alright? So if you do formal stuff like your headings and your tone, whatever thing, and break off subheadings, face over the stuff, then in case you have to do any calculations, you need to put it in an appendix and refer to the appendix, those kind of things. Alright? Now look at the first part. Now this one we're supposed to just know straight up what we're supposed to do. Evaluate the links between the current KPIs, key performance indicators at DCS in Appendix 1 and its mission.
So what is DCS?
Yes.
Oh, that I keep saying DCS, yeah, and yes, Thursday I did some of the SBA question with it. So, and it was DCS.
Okay.
So, yeah, we keep referring to DCS. Right? What does that want us to do, guys?
See. Relatably, the KPIs are to the mission.
So we'll find the organization mission. So remember, the word is evaluate now. We say evaluate always needs a basis. What's the basis? The mission. You're going to take the various parts of the mission, you're going to look at the KPIs, and you're going to see if the KPIs are in any way linked to the mission. So you say evaluate the links. Can you find a link? So if you can find a link, you say, yeah man, there's a link. Alright? If you can't find a link, no bother with the link.
So question, I can use that same kind of pyramid to help me out here.
Why you want to make it so complicated? Yeah, that's...
No, I'm not trying to do all parts of the pyramid, but like just to give me ideas of where to hit or what to look out for.
Alright.
Not necessarily.
Here's why I wouldn't use it, because one, them say evaluate the links, and typically sometimes we can do that, but normally he would have said evaluate how relevant are the KPIs to the mission. Or I wouldn't even say the mission. The idea is that for you to pick up, say you must use the mission.
Say objectives of the
In what I say, yeah, how relevant are they to what DS is trying to do?
That's what they use.
Yeah, and so because of that now, since he has not specifically told you the mission, he wants you to know, figure out if you're going to pick up, say, is the mission that he must use there. And then now, maybe now the performance pyramid, the balance scorecard, et al. Could possibly help you with this. Alright?
That they will, the pyramid will lock you in a certain direction that you probably don't
To
need
be
to
locked
go based on the case.
based on the case. Alright? And there's something in the case also. So when we look at it quickly, right, we're gonna say that guess what? Something in the case tells us that don't go down that road there. Alright? Because when we read the case, the CEO will say, this is what we want. Alright? So that will always help you to say if you're overreach, overstretch, overuse. Alright? You just lock it down to a specific thing. Alright? So that, we'll just look on the mission, look on the KPIs and see if we see any links.
Just a minute. Is there a reason why they always quote the name of Mr. Alamu? Is there a reason why they always state it when they mention the building block?
No.
Because they don't do that with the other models.
No. Sometimes it throws students off. They want to say. Because sometimes students don't know the name. And then they see the name now and then them say, what the hell? Who is that? I can't remember which one. And the students call me and say, sir, who is that and that? Because I've never heard of them before. So I say, what about that? Oh, and then they say so. Because we see the question and the question call them name and I never know. Yeah, so they don't know. So sometimes he will does that. For the performance pyramid, he love dropping Lynch and Cross. Alright? But I don't think it's fooling anybody anymore because everybody knows how Lynch and Cross. So everybody knows Lynch and Cross.
I'm sorry, what do you mean, class on East or Saturday?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Sir, what?
Easter Saturday.
Oh, is that?
Saturday is not a holiday and ACC is no holiday till you finish. Alright? Alright. Look at the second one. Assess the assumptions and the definitions used in the calculation of the current set of KPIs. So he clearly tell you what to do. He never asked if you calculate nothing. He said, tell me about the assumptions. Tell me about the definitions. Are they defining these KPIs correctly in terms of what they are included in there, or what they are not including, what they are excluding, You're going to look at it and you're going to be skeptical of them. Alright? What happened, Susan, I said? So we're going to see it here. It's in Appendix 1. So that's in Appendix 1. Part 3 says evaluate the other aspects of reporting in the DCS performance dashboard given DS performance dashboard given at Appendix 1. Look at what him say now. The other aspects. Alright? So the first part says tell me if the KPIs are linked to the organization's mission. But when we are asked to look at performance report or we're asked to look at dashboards, we have some bases to look at. Some of the bases, so remember, we look to see if it's financial and non-financial. We look for stuff whether it is short term or long term. We look for stuff to see whether or not it links to shareholder stuff, which might be covered by part 1 already. If it is covered by part 1, we can bring it up again in part 3. So part 3 said the others. We look at stuff to see whether it is well presented. Normally we want, for example, reading room between the numbers, so you know, if you try to figure out if the number you continue to the number here. We like to see trends, for example. We like to see percentages. We look for other things to see this compared to, for example, budget or to competitor, those kind of things. So those are the other things we look for. Alright? So the thing you want to do when you're going to the exam in June is for them to ask you to evaluate. Ask them to evaluate the performance report because it's supposed to get, if you can get a 14, it's supposed to get a 14 out of 14. What do you think friends are? Right? Part 4, as I said, is an explanation of how the building block model works as required by the CEO. So you probably know it, you know. Before you start write the answer and say, you know, I'm going to start write part 4 here. Just go into the case and just be sure what the CEO is asking for. Alright? Because he specifically says as required by the CEO. So find out if the CEO wants any little thing different. Alright? And then the part 5 says assess the 2 reward schemes that are given in Appendix 2.
Yes, sir. The fact that it's a reported
we'd prefer, I think you'd get your professional marks more if you follow that in the order. Right, yeah. Alright? So follow in order. Some stuff you may not have answers for as yet. Right? I don't know, some persons love to skip page and page upon page upon page upon page upon page. But if it look at it something like, for example, a 6 marks on how the building blocks work, that probably you don't need more than 1 page here. So. Alright? The other part that asks us to assess the 2 reward schemes. How do we assess reward schemes? It's based on the building blocks. Yeah, what are we using the building blocks? Because the building block actually have something in reward, you know? It have something in reward in there. What it have in there for rewards?
It's something about the attainable
Motivation from
Motivation, sir. Yes, sir. You mentioned that last week.
Clarity.
Wednesday.
motivation and control.
Right. Motivation and controllability. Right? So you're going to use those, plus of course common sense. Right?
So we're going to use those and
Answer the question. Any question that asks you to assess the reward scheme is going to be driven by Fitzgerald and Moon's reward aspect of the building blocks. Alright? Alright, look at the case on page 3. Alright, so this is where we stop the DCS now. So we see the name. Dashboard Services. A listed company, so to tell a listed company, so it must have shareholders, right? Outside of the likes of family ownership or whatever, provides facilities management services where it manages such activities as cleaning, security, catering, and building services on behalf of its clients. Client can outsource a DCS, a single activity, or often outsource all of these aspects in a full service contract. Part 1 asks us about the mission. Alright, so let's say if we find the mission. The mission of DCS is, quote, to give the shareholders maintainable, profitable growth by developing the best talent to provide world-class service with maximum efficiency. So we'll find the mission, right? Mm-hmm. We know that we're not going to use the mission in the full-blown like that. We'll break out the mission. Yeah? Ah, okay. Because them things that they want to have the best talent. Oh, don't worry about measuring it right now. First, let's worry about can I break down. So it's like how you zone in on best talent. That should be one of the one part of the mission that some KPI must link to, yeah. Alright? So developing the best talent would be one part of it. What about the parts before? Maintainable, profitable growth. You notice this? So you could keep those together because it's speaking about growth. The growth must be maintainable and profitable. How are they going to get that maintainable and profitable growth? It now says buy. And the things that come after the buy now can be separate. Alright? So developing the best talent, look at what? 2, provide world-class service, so something must be there for that, with maximum efficiency. We expect to see something there for that. Alright? So you should have like 4 parts of your mission. Alright? Whenever we see mission like that in APM, we are to break the mission down into its components part. The board has asked the Chief Executive Officer to review the effectiveness of dashboard systems for performance measurement and management. So the board give her work for you, she turned to you. Right? She has turned to you to begin this process by considering the strategic performance of DS. She has supplied the most recent example in Appendix 1. So look at what she wants now. And see how they relate to all the requirements that are there. She wants a report to the board which will cover 3 aspects of strategic performance reporting at DS. First, it should address whether the current set of key performance indicators, KPIs, measure the achievement of the mission by showing how each one links to all or are part of the mission. So you know what she tell you? So so that's a part 1 of the question. Tell me how each KPI link to all or part of the mission.
What is the KPI do?
Robert tell us it link. Say that one don't link at all. Alright? Look at the very next sentence. She does not want suggestions of new indicators. So not tell her new. One of the things lecturers normally advise our students is when they're doing the performance evaluation is just because they never specifically ask you for suggestions, you just make a suggestion and move on. So you don't explain it. So if you see, for example, ROCE are used as a shareholder thing, you say no, not enough. You should really be using total shareholders return and you move on. So you don't say anything further on total. You know, say how it is calculated. You just say it and move on. But in this one, no, it specifically said through the CEO, no do it, not interested. All right, and if you start to suggest, no, it takes away parts of your professional life. Right, yeah, because they call that unprofessional. All right. Second, taking each of the current indicators in turn, she wants the assumptions underlying the calculations of the indicators examined. Alright? So you take each in turn, do them 1B1B1. Look at the assumptions, they might tell us in Appendix 1, question the assumptions. We're going to be very skeptical. And we're going to bear this in mind. There has been a suggestion made in the press that DS is producing a biased set of results aimed to mislead the market. That's why we need to question and be skeptical. Because people are saying, it's like we have fixed up the numbers. Alright? This would then artificially boost the share price and so boost the value of the senior management shareholdings. Third, the report should evaluate the other presentational aspects of the dashboard against best practice. And we know best practice. So it said the other presentational. Any other thing that you see, make a comment in part 3 of the question. Alright? The idea of employee share ownership has always been part of DS's remuneration schemes. Its aim is to support an entrepreneurial culture and is a key differentiator in the market for new employees. The current reward system grants shares based on the appraisal of the individual by the line manager against vague categories such as leadership and entrepreneurship. The results of the scheme have been that only 5% of the staff received their maximum possible bonus in previous years, and half of them received no bonus at all. Increasingly, this has led to the staff ignoring the reward scheme and describing it as, quote, only for the bosses, unquote, favorite people. In response to this, the board has been discussing methods of analyzing and improving the reward system at DS. Alright? So the current reward system don't look like it'll work. I'm not going to try it. Fine. And we can see why this one now works. Look at the categories: vague, leadership and entrepreneurship. Alright? One non-executive director suggested using Fitzgerald and Moon's building block model. The CEO was asked to consider this as a project separate from the issues of performance measurement mentioned above. She will select suitable indicators from the dimensions, but currently needs you to explain to the board what is meant by results and determinants in this context, and how the determinants link to standards and targets. Alright? Let me point out something. Read that sentence again, guys. What about the building blocks you want to know?
Want everything now, sir.
She want to know about the dimensions in terms of results and determinants. You see that, right? And look at session. She says she wants to know how the dimensions are linked to standards and targets. Did she say rewards?
No.
You see it? Not everything.
But all of what else?
The last part asks for the rewards.
Yes, I will say everything here.
Yeah, but that's the answer. Is we are using it to analyze the rewards. She never asked you for it. Alright, you see? She was very specific. Standards and targets. So she asked for 2 out of the 3 building blocks. The standards is the same word. The word for standard, the other word for standard is targets. The targets are set for the dimensions, but how you arrive at the dimensions is following the 3 elements of the standards. Alright? So you recognize that you never want rewards in there, right? No rewards. Alright? Finally, she believes that there are 2 types of reward scheme which might suit DS and wants an evaluation of their relative strengths and weaknesses. It's almost like we're finding good and bad about each one of them. Alright? Clear? So never answer what was not asked of you. Alright? Alright, take a look at Appendix 1 and then we can look at Appendix 2. So it's the dashboard services, strategic performance dashboard, year to December 2016. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 types of services plus the full one, giving us a total. And we say the KPIs, because these are the ones that are on the Appendix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 KPIs. Operating profit margin, secure revenue, management retention, order book, organic revenue growth, and ROC. And everything is in percentages. And we get last year figures. Alright? So in terms of at least part 3, the other aspects, we get comparison. We can do a little historical comparison or benchmarking. But everything is in percentages, in a way, make it nicer, easier to see, right? But are we missing things or stuff like that? So we're going to look at those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 KPIs, see how they link to the mission. Alright? We're also going to, of course, look at their definitions before we run to start answering questions. Alright, so if you look below, KPI definitions and notes, cleaning, security, catering, and building services headings are for single service contracts. 2, no commentary is provided as the CEO talks the board through the dashboard at each meeting. Everybody know why that is there, right? But one of the things, again, that we normally tell students as lecturers is when you see the report or the dashboard, look at them give commentary, narrations to explain the figures. In kind of want to say, you don't really need it, yeah, because the guy I will explain it. Alright? Because normally we would have complained that there was no narration. Alright? So, when I answer the board, alright, with the explanation and I want to see the notes. Alright? But normally look out for that. That's a commentary normally. Alright? Why they're not explaining certain stuff. It's not everything needs to be explained, but if you put a little note on certain things. 3, what is secured revenue? This is long-term recurring revenue. This is the percentage of budgeted revenue which is already contracted. The budget is often not completed until well into the year, as it is a complex process. In 2016, the original budget showed revenue of 1.565 million. Well, no, it's not even point, it's 1,565 million. With the final budget signed off at the end of quarter as 1,460 million. The secure, that's the contracted revenue for the period, was 1,285 million. The account showed a year-end revenue of 1,542 million. Any issues with that? Any concerns? Anything that jumps out at you without even calculating any figures or anything?
Most of it is in quarter 1.
Showed with the final, no, it's because that was when them sign off the final budget. Yeah. So the question should be, why is it that the budget takes so long to sign off? Why them a wait so long to go all the way into quarter 1 to sign off the budget? Are the managers doing anything that they're not supposed to do? Are they doing any little petrol job stuff or stuff like that? Right? Because if you delay the budget, you can get a closer sense as to what is happening in the real life, and maybe you can set it so that
Most of the things contracted, so they know, so it should not take so long.
it should not take so long. I think because they wanted the secure revenue figure to look good. Alright? So that it's not too challenging. We're talking about the figure.
Make the budget closer to the result, the actual result.
Without making it 100%, because then it can look ridiculous. Right? So they want to make it as close to the results as possible. Take a look at it. Initially, the original budget was 1,565. Look at what they agreed to as the final budget. 1,460. That's $100 million less. Look what the revenue, the contracted revenue was for the period. 1,285. If you compare that with the original budget, the figure won't be the figure that is there now. Alright? So it won't be 88%, it will drop to something like 82%. And look where the revenue actually turned up to be. Yeah. So it's like them now want truly force themselves to have to do no work. Alright? They will try and make it as easy as possible for them to qualify for the bonus. Alright? So Wednesday, Tuesday, we were talking about this, and we said you cannot set your own targets. You're not going to make it challenging. See a ball now, so they're going to kill you off.
So this part for falls into the other aspects of the reporting?
It certainly falls into the assumptions. Look at the part 2. The assumptions and the definitions. Alright? Number 4, management retention. So look at this part now, because this is part of definition, and this you're supposed to be skeptical of this as well. Remember, what they want to do is develop the best talent. Look at what this thing is. Management retention is the percentage of managers who are still employed throughout the whole year. Sounds okay. The figure only includes those employees on full-time contracts. That's about 65% of all managers. That's the question you must ask. So under the assumptions, you're saying, why are you only focusing on the full-time, right? The part-time employees are not employees, so, right? If you're talking about developing the best talent, then you want to develop all the talent in your organization. Alright? Order book is the total cash value of future contracted revenue. DS has contracts that run up to 10 years into the future. What's the issue there? Order book is total cash value of future. So they're not taking into account the time value of money. It really should be discounted, right? And the reason why you are using cash value now is because cash value now is higher than the discounted amount, which sounds as if they really are manipulating to make it. Alright? So the examiner needs to read how them classify and define the thing, and you pick up something that you can run with it. Alright? Number 6, operating profit margin. This excludes exceptional items such as the reorganization of the catering business, which cost $55 million in 2016, where the revenue was $245. So that's the only item it give us in there. What's the exception we have with that? Look at what it said. It said happened to them, or they treated it. It was excluded. So the question becomes, should it be included? It's material, yes. Right, so should it be included? Alright? And that's our only concern really to know. And we can even work out numbers, and we can show you where we work out the numbers. But the question, from him tell us say it's excluded, our thing must be, why? Should it be included? Since we're questioning the assumptions. Once it's exclude, if you say include, we'll ask why too? Why include it? Alright? So I say, why exclude it? Is it because you want your numbers to look better? Because it look like apart from operating profit, remember say the only other, when you have other things in terms of revenue, it's maybe ROCE. Right? So they could be getting paid on some financial stuff. Right? And so maybe they want the operating profit margins to look good and meet a certain target. Alright? So since we question it, we're after that, we'll try to see if we can find what it will really look like if we were to include it. Alright? And number 7. I think this one should be straightforward. Organic revenue growth is calculated using the total revenue figure as reported in the accounts. It includes net acquisitions, which brought in revenue of $48 million in 2016. What's your problem there? They might include takeover, blah blah blah. What's the title of this line? Does organic growth include acquisitions? And that's why I'm giving the acquisition number for saying you even back out acquisition. Because if it's organic growth, it has nothing to do with acquisitions, yeah. But they are including it so that the number look bigger. So if you look at it, I kind of here, what I call this now? Gaming them I do?
Yes.
Yeah.
6 and 7. Exclude what should be included
Yeah.
and include what should be
Yeah.
excluded.
Alright. Return on capital employed, ROCE. Capital employed is total assets less current liabilities from the statement of financial position. See if anybody can find out what here. Huh? Total assets less current. Yeah, that's right. Total assets less current liabilities. Yeah, that's right.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it?
Ah, it's a service industry. It's a service industry. Why is ROCE so important? You're likely to have, because all that they are using from a statement of financial position are all tangible stuff. Service industries are likely to have intangibles.
So you see, I was focusing on the definition of capital employed, realizing that the ROCE is not appropriate.
So that's why I'm saying now, look at the assumptions and the definitions. Mhm. So the assumption here is that I'm putting ROC on my dashboard because it is key, it is important to us. When in truth and in fact, it is not as important as it should be. Alright? Because you're going to service industry that have many more intangibles than the tangibles. Alright? So the things are not overly complicated enough, but you see, you have to be on your game. Right? You have to be paying attention. You kind of have to question everything. You look at it and say, well, nothing wrong with the formula. What else could be? Yeah, what else could be off with it? Right? Service industry. Alright? Alright, let's look at Appendix 2. The CEO is considering two schemes. One based on the current scheme and a new scheme. Scheme 1, which is based on the current scheme. The reward scheme grants shares in DS based on the appraisal of the individual by the line manager against vague categories, leadership and entrepreneurship. The line managers have been informed that their bonus will in turn be partly dependent on how well they perform this appraisal. The expectation will be that as a result, 20% of the staff will receive their maximum possible bonus and 20% will receive no bonus. No bonus. Is that a good scheme or a bad scheme?
Bad scheme.
Alright, let's find something good about the scheme.
There's a scheme.
Something a little better than that. What do we get? Then I get shares. Alright? Yeah, if them pass the whatever, that test, that whatever line that is, then they might get they will get them shares. Right? I think the first one, it says a set of criteria including leadership and entrepreneurship. They restrict it now to just the two. Alright? So that's two things going for it.
But that's very big.
It's still vague, yeah. Kind of things that is still vague.
And these are regular employees.
Yeah.
Why they leaving?
Right? And it depends upon the line manager. Review is very subjective. And on top of that, them kind of know beforehand whether or not you'll get.
Right.
Then as an employee, then why me about to kill up myself then? Suppose we happen to fall like 20% when I get. But still I will go back and feel say are the boss's favorite people I get it.
What about the part about the their review in turn will
Yeah.
depend on how well they perform this appraisal. What do you mean by how well they perform this appraisal?
Yeah, what I mean by that. But what you interpret that? What I mean. So I'm
It means therefore, depending on what the result is, they themselves will benefit.
right. I'm assuming that I'm not quite exactly clear, but what I'm saying is based on the fact they said they expect, look at what the expectation will be, that as a result 20% of the staff will receive. So I'm assuming that if the managers do the appraisal and 20% of the staff will get the profit, they have done it well.
They will benefit.
If 30%, we tell us if you stick to 20%. Alright? So that means that you probably don't do it well. Right? So it's like they're kind of forcing the managers to stick to
Right.
this number. Which sounds very unfair to me. Alright? Because I got to tell them from beforehand what the result or the outcome must be. Yeah.
So I'm assessed based on based on my assessment and what else.
Yes. So I kind of wonder, does it also mean that if nobody now qualify, does that mean that I don't qualify?
Yes.
Oh, so I have to make sure that 20% of them always qualify.
Or 20% go.
Kelly alone in the fire department, we don't know how to work. I'm 20% there already. Right? We don't know how you are going to qualify for anything at all. Right? Or your supervisor. Right?
No, that's not fair in any way.
It really. But because it asks us to find something good about it, we have to find something good.
15% are people going to get it, sir.
Where would they say? They might get share. They could get share. Ownership. The shares are nice thing.
So it doesn't say something good, it says assess.
The strengths and weaknesses. Look at the case. Go back in the case.
Oh.
Go back in the case. So the case says, so that's down the bottom. Where is it? The last paragraph. She wants an evaluation of their relative strengths and weaknesses. Alright? So we have to see if we find anything good at that. We're not going to find a whole bunch of stuff.
Sir, 15% more persons will get their maximum bonus. That's my case.
Because the case is at 5%.
So more people are getting
So more people are getting bonus.
In the case?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the case is only 5% again. Yes, that's a there you go. That's a positive. But it's like a cap is set, and like a can't go past a cap there, and 20% no, so they're not getting nothing at all.
Right.
Yeah,
What
you don't have a chance.
Which is very unfair.
Which is very unfair. And obviously that can be demotivated.
Right.
So this scheme doesn't provide any motivation. Right? And it's almost like it lacks controllability. Right? Because it's like a lot of the decision making is kind of outside of the employee's control. It's like you can't really dictate whether or not you get, yeah.
So they
Right?
don't work too
Yeah.
much.
And it lacks clarity. The stuff are vague. Leadership and entrepreneurship. What the hell is that?
Sir, entrepreneur. What is scrap for the first one?
Yeah.
That's for the reorganize all of the reward scheme, and then they're going to be like, oh, you have to make a positive impact on the firm, or you have to do something extraordinary. What is your delegation of
Extra, right, yeah.
They don't know, they just have to do something
Mhm.
extraordinary. So
Right,
you must
yeah.
tell myself extraordinary
Mhm.
for next 1 week bonus. Okay.
And it may not even, after you kill up yourself, it may not,
Because the
Classified
50%
as-
already been assigned.
it may not classify it as extraordinary.
So my colleague just said,
What
you
that?
said extraordinary, so she'll go on to just
Right? Alright, so what about scheme 2? Can we did a pick on scheme 1? Under scheme 2, Employee targets are to be derived from the strategic indicators depending on the employee's areas of responsibility. Alright. The senior management will help with help from the line management where appropriate, will cascade down the strategic indicators to the relevant operational and practical level for that employee. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. There will be 5 targets set by senior and line management in consultation, and the employees will then get up to 50% on top of their basic salary as a bonus. 10 percentage points for each of the targets achieved. Anything good about this? So now I get some bonus. This don't look like it offer any restriction on the persons who could qualify. Right? It seems to be tied into their area of responsibility. It not giving them shares though, but I give them cash. And I think maybe people prefer cash. Yeah, maybe they prefer cash more than shares.
Where did the company now go?
Right. So what can we find that is so bad about this, man? What is bad about this? Anything bad about this?
Well, the indicators,
Mm-hmm.
I guess coming down there could be some misconception or something.
Okay. Alright, why?
Because, alright, you're just looking at their area of responsibilities and doing it for their area of responsibility and probably not take a holistic view of how it affects our lives.
Okay. But if it is cascaded down from the strategic top, like a performance pyramid that come down from the vision, if me focus on my area, shouldn't I be then linking to the vision? As if it derived from the vision, whatever I do, even if I focus on my area, shouldn't it help with the achievement of the vision?
There's always room for somebody just listen. My thing I'm doing.
Okay. How many indicators are you using?
5. So, sir, based on the fact that it's 5, the staff may have a difficult time trying to manage all those targets or meet all those targets, and then maybe for me to have a good. But I get 10%. 10%
They have a focus on 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, so you can do okay.
Okay. Alright. But it's 10 percentage points, so come back to this little argument. 10%, yeah, enough bonus money. Yeah. But wait. Yeah, it's true.
See, what earning?
Well, 50% are not still not, you know.
Yeah, well, 50% of 10 is still a lot. If you're only getting 10 and you're going to get 50% as bonus, that's still big.
No, I think this 50%. I think this 50% is each of these, so if you get 1 target, you get 10%, you get 2, you get 20, you get 3, you get 30.
Yeah, so if how much target you need to
The employee will then get, up to.
Right, yeah.
So then they're capping the bonus.
Right, so depending, and you have to cap the bonus. You can't make it go. You can't make it go crazy. Because then you end up giving the shareholders money. Right? But look at this thing. Because you were just even, Christy, you were just doing it a while ago. You need the first target 10%, you need the second target. All the targets are equal. Do we have a concern with that?
We don't know what the target is.
So how do you know that they are equal?
You just said it. If you do the first one,
Oh, you're talking about
yeah.
the percentage that we're given.
Are all targets as equally important to a business?
To me, yes. Well,
No, not necessarily.
And if you look at your own performance stuff, are all your KPI or your key areas of responsibility equal?
Somebody may know you can lapse in, but some may think you
Yeah,
are true.
because other things are more key than others. And the big assumption here is that all 5 are equally important. So bring in your own experience. You are given 5 set of things that will be judged on. Nobody, certainly never happened in my time, I'm not having anybody that the 5 areas are equal. They are not. There are certain things that are going to be more important, right? For each section, for each individual. You're going to get one that is at 20% of the score, one is at 30% of the score, one is at 5%, but they are never equal. And they're making all of them equal. Strategically, that don't make sense. Alright? That is our problem with this.
That's what problem, sir?
Alright? That's our problem with this, that they're all equal. I like it, and one of the other points that we had made, and we don't know if it's really a problem or whatever, is that one is giving the cash versus the other one with the shares. Some people are prefer cash, some people might prefer shares.
No, sure. It all
Right.
depends on how much shares are looking
Yeah,
at. How
yeah.
far on look at shares
So,
and
we
how
kinda-
percent you are paying.
We kind of like the cash,
The value of the share.
but then there are those who like them
Depends.
shares, yeah. So we don't know if that's our strength or our weakness.
One company
Depends on the
would
individual.
not even-
And then you-
They're not even employee shares. Our company don't really know do that now. We
Yeah.
have shares, so they don't go in. So when they go out there now and go to them, they say, we have 10,000 shares. And that's what I get. No, keep your
Worth
shares.
1 cent each.
It's a long-term investment.
Yeah, it's a long-term, yeah.
It worth something.
You're gonna get rich, or your grandchildren will get rich somewhere down the line.
That's the point. What are the value of the shares? That is not.
Yeah,
So that can be a concern.
So
The
that,
shares are given, but what is the value?
right. So that Christian now could either be a good thing or a bad thing. So you're right, it's it. For number 2. Right? So we say we don't know if that is good or bad, but they're not giving the people that shares, but we know say some people prefer cash. Cash you get it now, you can do whatever you want to do with it. If you want to buy shares, you can buy shares.
Can't value money, they
So alright, so if you notice for this one, it's kind of now like it's a little bit more, it's clearer, even though I raise a concern about the things being weighted equally. So the clarity is better, the motivation is there, so you can get your little pieces along the way. Controllability, it breaks down to your area.
So, sir, for this one then, since we're assess them separately or assess them based on the reward block. Separately, and on the, say for example, the scheme one you say clarity and motive.
Right, so we do
Separate them.
So do scheme 1 by itself and then do scheme 2.
Okay.
Alright? Alright. So how much time we have left? Do you think, look at question 1, since we have gone through the indicators, do you think that there are any links between them and the mission? So for example, operating profit. Does it link to anything in the mission? What do we want in a mission? Maintain a profitable growth. So it's probably the profitable part. Yeah, there's a link to it. No, right. So yeah, so that don't link to the benefit. Right? Yeah, so we're looking for the links. So for each one, let's look if it link to any part of this. So don't test it against all parts of the mission. Doesn't look.
Secured revenue with the maintainable aspect.
Yeah, the secured revenue could be, yeah, that looks maintainable. Right? Because that is speaking about revenue that you kind of, you have tied in, yeah. And so it's more likely to be turned into income, into revenue, because that's secure. You have contracts with people. Right, yeah. Alright. Anything else? For example, management retention, that linked to anything?
Well, yeah, yes, the best talent part, by developing the best talent, but I don't think this will work.
Why?
Or probably it's just a solution because it should include both.
Right. So there's really two issues we have with it. One, it not including everybody.
So it's not comprehensive.
Right, yeah. So it should include everybody. And two, the best talent part, but one of the things I'm saying is developing the best talent. That not really, that not tell we say them are develop best talent. Alright? It can tell you that you're keeping the best talent. But it don't really tell me that I'm developing the best talent.
So the best talent can also be subjective.
And it can be subjective, yeah.
Or keeping the best talent, the managers there could just come in with their talent.
Right. Yeah, they could, right. Yeah, exactly. Alright. What about order book? What is order book again? Total cash flow. Put that link to maintain, where is it? Maintainable? Yeah. Would that give maximum? No, maybe the operating profit margin could speak to efficiency as well, yeah? Right? Because margin speaks to efficiency anyway, so we could have used that. But order book, I think, is just maintain. It's just the, where is it again? Maintainable? Yeah, it does look like it belongs to maintainable. Yeah, I wouldn't put it at efficiency at all. And it's definitely not best talent and it's not world class. Right? Alright, everybody alright with order book? What about organic revenue growth? What that linked to? It could be profitable growth. Yeah. When I see it linked to that, yeah. Yeah, growth, yeah. What the next one? Ooh, ROCE. Yeah, well, I was trying to criticize it again. Part two, yeah, criticize not part two, but in part one here, I said it linked to anything.
What small as
So shareholder maintainable.
no, as the profitable parts of it to an extent. Because it's showing you how there is a way that people ask for the bottom part of the denominator part.
Capital employed.
Right, show putting their money.
Oh, so maybe the efficiency part. The efficiency.
Okay.
Right, so it can link to efficiency. There's a little argument.
It weak, it last what I mentioned.
Yeah. Could it link to profitable?
Probably you'd say generally what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
the profitable aspect of it.
I definitely say the efficiency, because that's what it is anyway. One. Everybody at efficiency, I don't want to put it? Or you trying to put it?
So there's a profitable
I can't just say it would speak to the efficiency, maximum efficiency.
Max is not just efficiency.
It's
but
max,
maximum
yeah.
efficiency.
Yeah, it's not truly covered, but at least it linked to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it like?
Because as I said, given the assets that you have, how effective are the capital employed, let's not say the asset, the capital employed that you have, how effective are you at turning it into profit? So that's efficiency. Alright?
Sorry, 17.2%.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that low?
We don't know.
For
So it was
for
the
service
best
company.
numbers they can
We don't really
say,
know.
or-
We have to get competitor number.
What is it about higher though? Higher,
Yeah.
whether it can.
Relatable.
It is relatable or not.
And no, that was a different question because we're not looking at the figures.
Right.
per
Yeah,
se.
coming interested.
It's not the figures we're looking at.
Is there any part of the mission that wasn't covered?
Yes.
So we still never talk about the best.
World
Best
class.
World class.
And you mentioned, okay, guess what? So I see links, yes. Weak links, and if you think them to be weak links, you say weak. You tell us why. They're strong, you tell us why. But then you say having gone through all your KPIs, guess what? No, it's not linked to you being world class.
So what would you say for best talent? Was there something for the best talent using the management?
Yeah, so for best talent, it's a management retention, but it don't speak about the development. Alright?
So because they are still there, we are assuming that they have the best talent.
Yeah, even when you have best talent, you still have to spend money on them, so it's right nice. We're to see some training cost or something, yeah, just know that you're doing something. Right? Say you send them on management courses, blah, 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 blah. That not really tell us anything. Alright? And if we were to look at the dashboard itself and find any other problems with it or anything that we can praise it, because it's not problems at all, anything else that is good or bad with that, what would we say?
Sorry?
Yeah, if we were to look at the dashboard, alright, so look at dashboard. Do we have any other positives or negatives around the dashboard?
I don't know where this fits,
Mm-hmm.
but looking at management retention.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so management retention is a percentage of managers who were still employed throughout the whole year.
Right.
The figure only includes those employees on full-time contracts, which is about 65%. So this represents 65%, but only 85% of them.
Yeah, probably. So, yeah, where you going with it?
But you say only 85% of the 65% is still there.
If you're talking about management retention,
Oh, yeah, look at the number. Oh, yeah, look at the number.
Should we look at
management retention.
No,
overall
alright. So
for-
the careful thing that you're looking at the numbers now to find out if they are performing well. We're not interested. Alright? Because we don't know if having 85% of them is good or bad. We're not interested in it.
which part of the, where are we going to find that out? Which part of the thing?
Part of the
Part
thing.
of the question. When are we going to analyze?
If we're asked to evaluate the report.
Right, no.
If we're asked to evaluate the report.
The examiner hardly, I want to say hardly, is like 90% of the time he does not want to analyze the report. Yeah. If you're interested in the numbers, sometimes we use the numbers to show that they are gaming. Alright? To show that they are trying to trick people. But we're not really interested in the performance per se. Sometimes we might mention a number to say, look at this. You notice they are performing well here because they are measuring here, but they're not measuring customer service and they're getting all of these complaints. Alright?
We're doing two, right? Part two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright? Well, part 3.
It's part three.
Right. Because when we're going through this, something we're doing part 2, looking at the assumptions. Alright? But why you guys don't want to say? Why don't we look at the report? Is the report easy to read?
Alright, the issue I would find with the report is that I'd expect to see categories. So based on whatever you're trying to achieve, I'd like to see the broken down into categories and then you have the we call them KPIs underneath that.
Okay.
But then like the order booked, so again, this is a good number, but it's a hard close number. What can I compare it to? Am I comparing it to industry, whatever industry that I said?
Mhm.
ROC to just run by itself.
Yeah. So would I love industry numbers so that we could compare? We probably need some breakdown of all of the subcategories because it just giving us the percentage for cleaning versus security and giving us as percentage. You know what this will tell us? It will tell us that we should be comparing them. So without even knowing, we'll look at it and we'll say, in terms of operating profit margin, yeah, building services now going with nothing, and that's not necessarily true, right? Yeah, because we don't have, for example, like actual numbers, make us say the size.
How big is the department?
how big is building? Suppose building is humongous. So even though it give us 4.9, it will give you a whole heap of actual cash in. Why am I going to lock it down? Because it's 4.9. So it can lead to you making the wrong decision. Once you put percentages, people are going to start compare. It's something I will automatically do. I will end up now doing the wrong thing.
So part 3 is the figures.
No, part 3 is not
That's not what
the
they're doing.
part 3 is not the figures. Part 3 is the presentation. But we're using the figures as a demonstration, right? So you notice it's not that we're saying that building services is performed worse and it could have performed better. And that's what I get into. We're just saying that given the percentages that are given, people will look at it and probably pick on building services and say it's not doing well, which may not be so. You also need the size of the company. Is that right? Alright. Marsha had mentioned other things as well about some comparisons and maybe even trends you can put on here. Right? The funny thing is that to make it a little bigger, but because here's one of the good things we could say about at least it's concise. Right? So we say good things if we can find anything about it, and we say any additional things. Oh, by the way, it is also using in terms of a good thing. Look at those numbers. Again, not numbers themselves, Karen. The types of numbers. They are financial numbers and they are non-financial numbers. We say a report must have both financial and non-financial. It have short term in operating profit margin and it have long term in terms of the secure contract and the order books. That's what we're looking for. Alright?
Is it here we talk about the ROC?
We would have done it in part 2. Can't remember what we were saying. The ROC, yes, the formula is alright, but we're not really think it's relevant. Right, yeah. Alright. But at part 3 now we're saying any other concerns that you have. Alright? And try, when I'm asking those questions, guys, just try and find something. Most of the time it's about picking out the bad things, but always try and find one little good thing. If I want something, at least find one something. Right? Try and find one good little thing, so at least him say you answer the other part of the question. Alright? Don't just give us only the negatives, since there's strengths and weaknesses. Alrighty?